Yeah, oh, a lot, but also not a lot. It's interesting. I have a lot of private stuff going on right now, and looking for a house or apartment to move together. We don't um, live together, so
Uh-huh.
we're just looking for an apartment or a little house. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's a big change. That's exciting.
yes, it is. You have this already behind you.
Yeah, Jake and I actually we didn't move in together until we'd been looking once we got engaged, we started looking for to live together and we ended up we didn't find a place until the week before we got married.
Okay.
Uh, so we actually didn't we were like, well, we're so close to he was like, let's just make our first night here like after we get married. Like so
Ah,
it was interesting. Like it wasn't he was like, it sounds so old fashioned, but um that's just how the cookie crumbled for us.
yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah, we have a couple moves and this is we bought a house last year and that this is our third place living together now.
Okay.
So it's
Interesting.
yeah, yeah.
But it
So
seems, yeah, I already recognized your 7340 channel, your channel of community. So,
yeah, all of
good.
my channels are I'm sorry, all three of my circuits are tribal.
Yeah. So so you like a lot, or you need a lot of socializing and meeting the people you love and so on. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's actually been one thing I've noticed. I've changed a lot. Like Jake has every Friday night is guys' night, every Tuesday night is band practice. And he always asks me, he's like, do you need more time like with your friends? And I'm like, there's not many people local that I really like to spend time with anymore, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's so it's interesting. I end up doing like chats like this, like you and I are doing now. And I'm like, my people, like the people I want to actually spend time and energy with are kind of all over the world. And I would rather have a good conversation with someone like you than,
Yeah.
a negative Nelly
Yeah.
friend who just ends up
Yeah.
bringing me down. So
So
it's
we have a lot in common. I saw because you only sent me your human design chart, not your birth date, so I couldn't get into your numerology stuff. But I'm always interested because I think we have much in common. And when I saw your birth date and birth month, I think it's the 23, 23rd of February, is it?
the 25th of February.
25th. Just I don't remember it, of course. But we have the same birth card in my card system, and that explains a lot for me because um, who's the King of Clubs, and the birth card system is a very unique system. I have it from the US. There are several people that are working with it, and it's knowledge and. Every day in the year has one card connected, and the club is 12 times a year connected, and there are 52 cards. So I have my birthday is the 17th of June, and I have also the King of Clubs as a as
Oh, and my sister is the 17th of June. Does it matter what year you're born in?
so she's a King of Clubs too. Um,
Oh,
and what we all have in common, and I don't know any King of Clubs who does not have this, is they are knowledge junkies. So that's clubs are the suit of communication and knowledge, and king is the highest number or card or face of the club suit. Begins with the ace and with the king, and every king in every suit are the king of clubs, king of hearts, king of diamonds, or king of spades. It's the master of the suit. So we are the master of knowledge, and I remember when you told that you make every course or webinar or something like that, everything you can get your hands on to get more knowledge. So it's very the same with me. So I
yeah,
so
that's
it's
so fascinating.
So that it's no wonder that we share this that trait. That
Yeah. That
we
makes so much sense. It's even like going through the whole quiz course and I don't know, like me being like, yeah, I know 4 results is typical, but I'm going to do 12 and I'm going to, I don't know if you saw the results page example that I put up.
that need a point because of it I wanted to talk to you a little bit because I didn't want to comment on the group and I didn't want to write it because it was difficult to bring my point across on this point. And I think it was a little bit overwhelming for me to the whole stuff. You wrote that you want to design it, and then perhaps it's a little more better. But I noticed it several times in the last weeks that you put a lot of stuff into it, and I think it's a little bit overwhelming. And then I remember that you are a projector, and that projector is more inviting. And I think you're a little bit in the guru direction with this much stuff that you put out on the results page. I think projector marketing is a little bit more invitation and being recognized. And I noticed, or I remembered what you told me. I totally go in resonance with this. You told me in our first conversation that you have done already non-marketing before, and that's
what kind of marketing?
No marketing.
Oh yeah. I've done a lot of marketing actually, but I really am more of a marketing minimalist now because I find that that's more effective for me.
Yes.
As a projector, like I don't need to email my list 3 times a week. It's more like once or twice a month. But they read it and they love it when I do. So I tend to get really good results from, I guess, showing up more for impact than just to show up.
Yeah. Great. Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting too, because like with the quiz results, like I wrote it out and it's funny that you say like, oh, it's a little overwhelming. Like it's a lot. Part of it, I'm going to see how it looks on an actual landing page. Because I think as a PDF, it feels like, oh my God, this is so much. But when you have like the readability improves, hopefully on a landing page. And if it doesn't, my intention is I'm going to take maybe a third of it and put it, or maybe even more, and put it into like, look out for your next email that will have this next step for you. So I might break that down, but the creating, and I'd love your thoughts on that. Like, because I know like it was like a 17-page PDF and I'm like, this is a lot. Yeah. But if it
half of your sequence already. So yeah. And the point is, I just it's interesting that the Chanti loves it, and because I think one of my strengths is that I have a very good feeling for energetics and for how something is perceived, and I perceive you, I perceive your content, and what I immediately thought was that the result page is not a good place for testimonials, because when I take a quiz, I don't want the feeling that someone is selling me already. So when I get testimonials, I know someone is selling me. So I think my opinion is, my feeling is, leave completely out the testimonials, because they can come in the email, they can come as a story, as a follow-up story or something like this. And I think the main point is to build trust and to get the real results, what you do, actionable results. And then because when they have the feeling that they are sold already, I think it's you take yourself the chance to invite them, and that's your projector thing, to invite them and to be recognized. So, and I think it's a little bit counterintuitive, or perhaps a little bit the opposite of what you want to achieve. My opinion. It's only my opinion. I may be
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's definitely something where I think for me, like building out the results page, like I said, I may end up putting some of it in the email sequence because I haven't written the email sequences yet. And I also want to over deliver on the results so that people get a lot of value from it. So I think I'm going to be, my intention is to test it, like to have, once I get the actual quiz, like I'm working on the questions now because the results pages are all done. And I'm going to have people, I'm hoping to have a handful of people take the quiz, make sure that the results they end up on feel like the right results.
Yeah.
And to also essentially say, like, was this too much? Was this not enough? And try, like, I just talked to my tech girl this morning and she said they would build it out, one with like the short version that I have and the rest of it coming in the emails. And then the other one as the full version with the call to action right there. But the call to action, I think there's only 3 results that I invite them to a call, and it's because they're literally my ideal people, 1,000%. The rest of them, it's like, here's another free gift for you if you want more. So I definitely appreciate your opinion, and maybe when the quiz is ready, you can take it if you wouldn't mind, and let me know. Because it's for me, it's, I feel like this quiz, I'm putting a lot of effort into it because I think it's an exciting way to have, it's way more exciting than like a PDF lead magnet or
Absolutely.
And it's something that, because of the 12 different results that you could get, like it's going to be very customized. And I know basically 4 of the results are people that would never, they're not clients for me yet, but that's good to know too. Like if people come into my world and I'm like, oh, you're totally not someone I can help, then that's just as powerful to know as, someone being my ideal client. And I feel like I guess I'm at the point where, like between having a 9-month-old and then my husband, actually Jake is we're looking to possibly retire him from his job this year.
I thought he was a professional musician.
No, that's just his passion. He has a job at the phone company.
Oh, okay.
And he's worked there for 24 years.
Oh, okay.
He started when he was 18, and I'm not sure how it is in Germany, but here in the US, well, things are very different now. Like people that got hired into the phone company now, there isn't really such a thing as job security anymore. But he's kind of he has a pension, he has like a lot of perks. So like people that started with a big company 20 years ago or more, in our country, it's kind of like 30 years is when you max out.
Yeah.
So if you stay for 30 years, you kind of like, it's like a magic number thing happens, and now you get more retirement and you get this and you get that. But he's just really unhappy at his job now, and
okay,
I can make more money than he can if I had more time.
Yeah.
And we want to go live around the world, and that will be easier to do before Jackson's in school. And so there's lots of reasons.
Yeah.
Mostly the fact that he's unhappy. Like if he wasn't unhappy at his job, he would just stay another 6 years.
Yeah.
But 6 years of being miserable 5 days a week is a lot to ask of a person.
Perhaps, or surely better invested to watch your amazing little Perry grow up.
Yeah. And he even said, like, so Jackson was born on January 5th.
January 5th.
And
Pick up his card. Great.
oh yeah, let's see. What is his card?
That's the same card on my girlfriend. The Nine of Spades. A very special card. Because yeah, it's a very intense card. I think I saw his first picture and I immediately saw he's a very old soul and very, very old soul.
Yes.
He reminds
Wait, what is it? What is his card?
it's the Nine of Spades. Nine is about letting go. I think it's he has chosen not so easy lessons for this lifetime because my girlfriend has a Nine of Spades too, and it's all about letting go.
That's interesting because even like when Shaitan read Jackson's human design chart, he was like, oh my God, he's so wise. Like you, even as like a newborn, you could probably just look in his eyes and know that he knows so much. And he's like very similar to what you're saying. And it's also,
you can see
I had
lifetimes as a monk in his eyes and in his whole face and in his whole presence.
Yeah, and
he has spent many lifetimes as a monk and has reached a very high level of maturity and wisdom. And so in this lifetime, perhaps it's, that he has chosen to go on the road for the master lesson of forgiveness and letting go and yeah, perhaps the whole interdependable. I can say it, I can't say it in English, but this lesson between people, not about keeping and getting honor or money or prestige or something like this, but to master the human stuff, so like this. So I'm very
oh,
fascinated.
that's fascinating. That's fascinating. And especially like I had 4 miscarriages before. And I had an energy session with a colleague of mine who lives in Australia.
Yeah.
And I remember like being pregnant and it was with Jackson. But I had some sessions with her after and during some other pregnancies. And it's just interesting to me about like the soul agreement and the choosing, like Jackson choosing us as his parents. And I don't know. It's just like, to me, it's really fascinating about like what Jake and I went through over the 3.5 years and the lost pregnancies but kind of like what Jake and I, yeah, again, without airing too much of my dirty laundry, like we went through some really hard stuff, like individually, but also as partners. And like it was essentially like when we cleaned up our shit energetically and got to a real place of, I don't want to say integrity, like we weren't good people before, but it's just we looked at all the cobwebs in our life, in our minds, in all these different areas because of what we were going through. Really uncomfortable topics and conversations came up, and we came out on the other side better for it. And then to have Jackson, like to have that pregnancy finally, for lack of better words, stick. It was just like, it's been really, hearing everything you're saying about him being a 9 of spades and like, it just is matching up with everything, his human design, and then this other energy healer, like everything that has been kind of shared with us about our journey, and then adding Jackson to our family and Jackson's journey as his own individual. It's really fascinating.
And we have the same relation. Also, there's also that you can get when you put 2 cards together. So for us as a king of clubs, it's very simple. It's always the same number than the other person, and you only count two suits ahead. And so for you and Jackson, it's the 9 of clubs. relationship card. And I had it's interesting, as Belinda, the second girlfriend was a card that I have. And the
Oh, wait, hold on. Arndt, you're cutting out a little bit.
yeah, okay.
Hello?
Hello, do you hear me?
Oh, now I can hear you. You cut out a little bit, and I was like, I don't want to miss anything he's saying.
So I had a girlfriend before Belinda, and she's a nine of clubs burst card, and we had a nine of spades relationship. And with Belinda, it's vice versa. It's she's a nine of spades, and we have a nine of clubs relationship. So I know this nine relationship very well, and I know the nine of clubs very well. And it's, I think perhaps I think I get resonance on this, that he has chosen you two as parents because you already have a lot of experiences with this theme of letting go. So you can understand him when his life lessons show up, and it's about letting go, and you can assist him in his experiences and his lessons. I think it's one possible way to look at it. And,
I'm so curious now. Jake's birthday is October 23rd. What's his card?
it's the same card with that my uncle has this birthday. So it's the Queen of Hearts. That's very interesting. October 23rd.
Yeah.
Okay, that's very interesting. Oh, you have chosen a very, very intense setting with all of his three. Because he's a Queen of Hearts burst card. He has a Queen of Hearts burst card, and Queen of Hearts is one of the seven cards, and we have one of the other six cards that lie on a double planetary position with a double influence. The King of Clubs lies on a double Uranus influence, so it's all about change, sudden events, and so on. A very ruthless energy, and his Queen of Hearts lies on double Neptune. So it's very spiritual, dreamy influence, and this is the Queen of Hearts. He's a very emotional man, very very deep emotions, and I have a former sense and very deep emotions, and so it's very interesting.
Oh, that is interesting, especially because he's completely open emotional center in human design.
He wants to learn about emotions. It's a
yeah, like that in well, I know you know this, but like that in his human design is a center of wisdom for him, or learning, potential wisdom, and one of the best places for him to learn. And I'm actually an emotional authority.
Okay. Combination with Belinda and me. I'm open emotionally, and she has emotional authority. So it's a similar constellation. And what comes usually to this very interesting. You have not only do you have a common connection card, but you also have a life path connection. So he is lying in your life path, and he's your Pluto card. So all about transformation. He transforms you. He supports your transformation in the positive way. The negative way, he triggers you in your weak stuff and in your buried shit. So that's very very intense. All of you with this nine of spades, with this Pluto connection, with this two double planetary influences, is very 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 intense. You have to deep and stuff. So it's very interesting.
Oop. Hold on, I lost you again. I think I can hear something, but it sounds garbly and mumbled.
Yeah, I do nothing here. I'm just sitting here.
I'm not moving either. This is so weird how the internet does that.
Yeah, because Zoom normally is the best way to connect. I don't know. It's on the line.
Yeah, it's interesting. I had a conversation earlier today that was the same thing. We were getting all kinds of feedback and whatnot. So maybe the Zoom system is just haywire today.
Perhaps I can understand it very well, so no problem. I'm not sure what's on my end.
I mean, it might be on my end. There's trucks and stuff. They're actually digging up part of our road to put in natural gas. So I don't know if that might be causing some of it on my end, but yeah, it's
maybe the card system. I work with technology with the cards and human design, so that I might be.
No, I'm fascinated by it, especially because, and I think this is something that you and I have in common, is that we both have lots of tools in our toolkit. And for me, what I find is the tools I use, they always complement and support each other. Like, I don't see something in human design that, like, if I look at someone's human needs, or if I look at their wealth dynamics, or I look at their Colby, it never contradicts each other. And that's why those are the tools I've chosen to use, is just because they've been 100% accurate and consistent across the board. And it sounds like for you, it's the numerology and the cards and different tools that you use. It's the same thing. It's just a different perspective on the topic of, hey, who are you?
And we come to the same conclusions. And the advantage of my system is that I only use perhaps moment and first time I use the design. It's very great. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. So, did you read my email sequence?
I didn't see it. Where did you put? Was it in Kylie's group or in Shanti's group?
Well, it was in Kylie's group.
Oh no, I'll go check it out.
That's my email sequence that I wrote about me and Belinda. So we have a very very intense start of our relationship. So I'm curious if Kylie speaks about it tomorrow. I'm not sure exactly what she would do it last week, but we haven't found.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I find her feedback is really helpful. And I like the approach in general of, like, I feel like I've learned so many tools in the course, and I'm like not an expert copywriter by any means, but I feel like I get the main points. And I don't know, I'm excited I feel like I probably could go through this course like 3 or 4 times over the next year or two and continue to get value out of it. And I don't know, like, did you ever end up doing a quiz?
I'm in the process because I have two quiz layouts. The first one was the first one that I did for my numerology stuff, and hence, okay, it's not so easy to get to the result page and to write the results. So I gave it to copywriting woman.
Mm-hmm.
Change I help a little bit with their marketing, and she writes me the 4 results, and the other stuff jumping out of bed with joy. That is for my UX design stuff. But one thing, but I have my strategy or my approach because I noticed that I'm not in alignment with my UX design with my type because I push too hard with this stuff, and I think it's better to get the intention out and then wait for someone who responds or who comes across, and then I can respond to this or not. So it's not the
Gotcha.
time to push in this moment. And perhaps I write the quiz ready because for this quiz I'm able to write the results and the questions. The other quiz is very difficult because it's very much about getting people to their problem or to their to the point where they are stuck. That's the main problem that I face all the clients. That that's something nice to know. Oh, okay, I'm a five. Yeah, nice to know. But they don't get to whether they have a topic or problem or issue, something like this. And with the quiz, I can navigate them a little bit easier and a bit more into this. Okay, I need focus. Okay, I need clarity. Okay, I need something like this. So these four points, I think it's very valuable to get the people to recognize that they how they can benefit from all this stuff.
Yeah, well, that makes sense because I think that's, again, another similarity that you and I both have is we see the problem so easily and we're like, oh, here's the answer.
Yeah,
And if they don't take action, they're not going to get results. And so I know that's actually one of the things that it's why, like, even in my quiz results for like my 3-step process that I take people through, I gave a story for each one um, instead of making it more academic, like, oh, you need to work on your
yeah,
communication and your personal responsibility and this. Like, instead of telling them what to do, I used a story to highlight a person that took those steps so that they don't feel like my intention is because I want them to see and feel what it looks like to take those actions. But I know that if they try to do it on their own, it's not going to be as effective as if they hired me to help them. And
yeah,
my intention is that the right people that are ready to take those steps will be like, I want to get results like Carmen. Like, how do I do that?
yeah.
And then hire me.
I like the your description for the event that you did a couple of weeks ago. I think I with the woman how where you just described how the woman made steps on together and so on. It was great. So we can connect. You know, well, I want similar results than this woman described on the page. So,
Yeah. My retreats, that is seriously, if I could do, not if, when I grow my audience to be big enough that I could do one of those a month, I would. I love doing those events. And it's like I did another one. Well, obviously, the reason I made that sales page version was because I was trying to fill seats at my next one. And this one, like I've done 4 now, and
yeah,
every single one I do is better and better and better. And like the results I got from this last one, the testimonials I have, uh, like I can't wait to actually update that. And I'm like, especially, it's one of the women that was there. Um, she is very successful. She's making about a $500,000 a year. And she pulled me aside afterwards, and I wish I would have videotaped what she said. Like, it was, she was like, Bethany, she was like, this event like how you're doing this. She goes, you are absolutely in your brilliance. And it's given me permission to step into mine. And for her, she doesn't even care about making more money. But she unlocked like this whole different side of herself. And she was like, how can I help you fill this up? Like, how can I help you get more people in here? Because this, if you like your passion for working with heart-centered people who want to change the world, she was like, if they have access to these 2 days with you, there is no way that we can't save the planet, that we can't stop human trafficking, that we can't actually tackle these problems that are overwhelming. But what you do is you make it so simple to just know what to do. And she's like, more people need this. So I'm actually, I don't know, like it's just for me, I'm like, I can't go save the planet by myself. I can't stop human trafficking. Like, I can't do that. Like, I'm a projector. I don't have that kind of energy. But what I can do is support a few key people as often as possible that have more energy than I do.
That's exactly what we do. Those two, I think. That's the truth from my feeling. She was invited for her first Facebook ads campaign and so on. And I think she's a project to her as her not strategies. It's not a strategy, but her wish is to teach more multiplier these kinds of marketing stuff. And yeah, get the message out. So
yeah. So I'm actually, as I'm saying that, I'm super curious how it went or how it's still going with that person. Remember last time we talked, I was like, why don't you just sell one package at, I think, what did you sell? You sold a $4,000 package or something?
4,500. Yeah.
Yeah, and how has that gone, or is it going?
It's going well. It's a little interesting constellation because it's a woman of one of my business corporation partners, and last call we had this week, and that was a completely different point because they are just in separation, so they want she wants to separate from him, so it's a little bit difficult to handle right now, but yeah, it's okay. I think it's going well. So we got what stuff about my meeting last night with Belinda and how I handle stuff, and she has another man she met where she had a little talk with told her with my card system that this man is not a potential lover for her, but it's more for her to balance her own stuff and her own marriage and to get the sixth card, and the sixth is all about balance and about harmony, and where in your life is something is not in balance. So, and she was a mirror for her to show her. I did success coach, I did money receptor for her. We talked a lot about human design because her the incarnation scene is not
Oh, wait, hold on. You're cutting out a little bit.
Yeah.
Wait, let me.
Yeah. Do you hear me? Do you hear me?
Hold on. I'm going to try moving because The trucks on the road just moved. I think it's the trucks doing this to my, I think it's on my end. I'm sorry about this. Let me try moving. Okay, will you try talking again?
Yeah, okay, here I am.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, so, yeah, we did a lot of stuff before about human design and about her type strategy, and not so much about strategy, but more about the inclination theme, because it was a inclination theme of rulership, and she has a lot of 8 energy in her numerology chart too, so it's a match there. But there are themes in the human design, inclination themes that are very easy to get, and there are themes that are not so easy to get, and the rulership theme is a little bit abstract. And I don't know. Do you have this migration? This
Do I have the what?
incarnation cross of migration? Do you have this cross, or what is your incarnation cross?
No, what is, I don't remember mine off the top of my head.
I don't know if it's on your chart. I think I have your chart.
Hold on.
Because if you have this cross, and I think you have this cross, then I can tell you a little bit about it. Where is? Do you have your chart there?
I have, yeah, I have the right angle. I have my, the right angle of the incarnation cross.
Of the incarnation? No. Right angle cross of incarnation? I don't know if this exists.
Yeah, it's, well, that's from the Jovian archive version. Hold on, let me see. Shaitan, and this is what's interesting because I study human design. I've studied under 3 different versions.
Yeah.
You use Shaitan's version?
No, not exclusively. He's one of my sources, but I just look at other sources the same way. It's not his unique stuff that I look at. So I think he describes the crosses very well, and because you only sent me there are no details. I think that you have sent me as a 30,
Here,
40.
I'll send you.
And
Here, I'll send it to you now. Hold on.
Facebook. Oh,
Yeah.
then
And let me just double check my time. I think it was 11.
I hear the cars from the.
I know, they're so loud.
Okay, so then
It's 11:09 a.m.
11:09 a.m. in.
Where was I born? I know, I'm trying to look it up. I haven't actually looked this up myself in so long because I have my chart on my computer. And I'm not on my computer right now. Hold on. 11:09 a.m. in New Haven, Connecticut.
What?
I'll type it. Hold on.
It's better. Connecticut, I guess. So. New Haven. Okay. Oh, New Haven. It's a nice birthplace. I would like to be born in New Haven. So I just look it up.
I think that's the right time. But the New Haven, I know, but I'm wondering if the time is right. I think that's the right time.
Okay, so I have February. So do you do the profit potential too, or And at the PG5,
Do I do the what?
workshops at PG5, them? No.
I hate that you're cutting out. I'm getting like every other word.
Okay. Sorry.
Hold on.
So, okay, so it's the theme of planning. It's we have another cross than Linda because she has the same combination. Okay, so I just try to put in my earphone. Perhaps it's better. To understand.
Hey, Arndt, I have
Yeah, it's
a
better.
phone. Yes, that is better. I was going to say I have a phone conference line. I'm wondering if it might be better for us to talk on there because I want to hear everything you're saying.
Yeah,
And
okay.
let me see. I just want to make sure there's international numbers. Hold on.
Perhaps it's my microphone. I don't know if it's now better.
Oh yeah, you sound 1,000% better right now.
Yeah, okay, good. I didn't use my headphone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's this one. Okay, so I just get it. I just get your theme. It's a theme of planning or your incarnation cross of planning. That's your live theme. Okay, it's not the same than Belinda has, because she has a 70. She has a 3742. This as the sun and Earth, but she has other unconscious planet, I think. So it's another cross. So I talked with my coaching client about her cross a lot, and I have the cross of Garden Eden.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very abstract cross too, because it's.
And where do you choose? Because I know Shaitan has one book, like he has a whole book on your life themes, and then those are very different than the ones that Jovian Archive gives. And then there's
completely
another,
different, but
well, different names.
Yeah. No.
It's interesting to me, like because I know I'm actually going through another semester of training and going deeper into like the gates and the channels and relationships, charts and stuff like that. And when I try to compare notes, because as much as and again, this is probably like my king of clubs, or wait, am I king of clubs or king of spades?
King of clubs.
King of clubs. So like my king of clubs, like desire for knowledge, and also true in my human design chart, like in my heart center, like my, like, I'll never feel like I know enough type thing. It's interesting because as I'm going through it, I'm trying to look at, because I know there's human design for me, I feel like it's an interpretation.
Yeah.
And so I like to see multiple interpretations of the same thing so that I feel more fully prepared to form my own opinion, I guess.
Yeah.
And oh my God, I love how much more clear I can hear you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, sorry for that.
No,
I don't
that's
use
okay.
I don't use my headphones very, very much. I don't have many calls over the day. I don't live my fourth line very much. That brings me to another point right now. Just remind me to on the lines later, because I have some information for you too from this. So go ahead.
Well, no, that was kind of just what I was saying, is it's just different names of the same thing. And so I feel like I'm trying to get used to looking at, I always like to go deeper. So I'm like, what's the common theme in all of these different interpretations? Because that's usually where I feel like the truth lies.
Yeah, that's very difficult because I explained this a lot in different groups or people who want to learn or who are new to human design, where I think the line is going between the two main camps. I think two main camps,
Yeah.
and Chetan is one camp, and there's the other. He calls them Ra-bots, also Ra from Ra-Uhu. Why does he call them Ra-bots? Because they only cite, they only publish or write about stuff that Ra has said. They don't have an own opinion. They only cite what Ra said, and therefore he came up with this term Ra-bots, because they only repeat what Ra had said. And it's a little bit like religion. It's something like if someone only
like
talks
a cult.
like a cult. So, and that's one difference between them, that Chetan takes the stuff and brings it a little bit further, and brings his own personality and interpretation a little bit more into it. And the second distinction is that Chetan, in my view, is more in this lines, gates, and channel stuff. He talks about the centers and the whole other stuff too, but his main focus, I think, is on the lines and the gates and the channels. His whole book is about lines, gates, and channels, and he covers the centers too. Okay, but when I got 2 readings from him, and both readings focused completely on this line and gate stuff and channel stuff. So he didn't talk a lot about the centers. He didn't talk a lot about strategy and authority. So and the other camp, I think that's more Chetan and I think you go on this camp too. I sense we are more about this character traits, about potential, about life theme, about how we can use this stuff in a practical way, something like this. And the other camp is more about this type, authority, and strategy stuff. So the human design is called human design experience, because the experience is
experiment.
Experiment, experiment.
Yeah.
And why is this? Because it's an experiment to incorporate the whole energetical stuff into your life. And that's all about type, strategy, and authority. And then you can go on with the PHS system, also the health stuff and the other stuff below the line. So we have, and they say you have about 7 years until all your cells have
adapted.
Adapted by all 7 years. The cells change themselves completely. So you need 7 years that your body has understand that he has to follow his type, strategy, and authority instead of your brain, your head. That's the thinking behind this. And Chetan does not stretch this so much than the other type of people. And
that's probably why I love both camps, actually. Because my first degree is sports medicine. So my knowledge of the human body on a cellular level, I mean that differently than an energetic level, but like the physiological changes that happen when you think something different are real. Like there are literally different hormones released. There are different neurotransmitters in your brain that get lit up. So for me, it's like, I do believe in that biological transformation. And I also don't think you need to wait 7 years to tap into your potential.
No, I don't think so too. And it's yeah, and there's one difficulty in this approach for when you want to work with clients with it about this stuff. So because I think it's very difficult to have a client and talk about them with about their type, strategy, and authority, because what shall they do with this information? So they have to, if you want to incorporate this knowledge, this body knowledge into your life, you have to do a lot of seminars. You have to practice a lot. You have to have someone who's a kind of mentor for you to give you tips and tools how to implement it and so on. So if you have clients that you only see once or twice or 3 times perhaps, then I think it does not make sense to weave this stuff in, because the whole point of waiting and answering and responding and so on, it's you have to train this and to have someone who explains this not only once but more often. So that's the reason why I don't get very deep into this stuff when I do.
Oh, that's fascinating. I actually have a completely opposite perspective. That's so funny. Yeah, like I feel like, oh, hey, let me show you how to check in with yourself every day. I'll show you how to do this, and then it's up to you to do it every day. But I could have one session with you, and this actually really happened with a client recently. About 3 months ago, I did one session with this woman, and I said, let me teach you how to check in with your natural authority, and I'm going to teach you how to listen to your body and train. Here's how you're going to train yourself on a daily basis to be more in touch with your natural design. She did it every day for the next, she called me, I think it was 3 weeks later, and told me she had taken action every day based on because I'm a big fan of simplifying things. So we had come up with a customized plan. Here's how she's gonna retrain her body. And I was like, listen, like it's 7 years of deconditioning, but you get to do this every day or not do it every day. And then that will make it take longer, but you can do this or not do this. I'm going to show you how. We're going to come up with a plan that feels good for you. And so we created her plan. 3 weeks later, she had realized, I don't know, half a dozen big ahas, called me back and said, I want to do another session with you. We did another session. And 3 days later, she literally landed her dream job, quit her other job, moved cities, doubled her income, and now she has since come back and signed up. Right now she's working with me in a 4-month package because she's like, this works. And not because she needs me for the day-to-day stuff of her type, authority, and strategy, but because how simple I made it for her to take action based on that. She wanted to go deeper into other stuff.
Yeah, great.
And so I don't know. I mean, I'm not trying to change your mind.
No. I think it's a question of or it's a topic of personality and of you are a projector. I'm a manifesting generator. We are both king of clubs, okay, but we have a completely different track record in working with people and coaching and train people. So my archetype is sage. It's 90% sage and 10% whatever you want, magician or explorer or something like this. But 90% sage is not about teaching or coaching or consulting people, and that's my problem. That I looking for a business model that fits to my sage archetype. So and your archetype is another mix of ruler. Oops.
I'm
okay.
I'm
so
alchemist.
and ruler alchemist, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The ruler, I think the ruler is
definitely.
Yeah. So you have the authority, and you have a king. Yeah, you are a king. Speaking for itself. Yeah.
Can I offer you a suggestion or an idea that maybe would be helpful for you? So as a sage, people pay for three things. They pay for information, transformation, or convenience.
Yeah.
And as a sage, you're going to be a wealth of information.
Yeah.
And so your biggest competitor is Google.
Yeah. Google is a sage archetype. Yeah.
And yes. And you call yourself the human Google.
Yeah.
So my suggestion for you would be to share in your marketing that you have trustworthy information that's customizable to the person, but not actually give them the information. They only get the information after they've paid you.
Yeah.
It's a very simplified way of approaching it, but for the sage archetype, generator.
Yeah.
And I don't know about King of Clubs other than if I am one of I'm a pretty quick study, so I'm not trying to tell you about your numerology or anything that's in your wheelhouse, but if it's so easy for you to just be like, oh yeah, here's what you need to know, and then people are like, thanks, I'm full, I don't want to buy anything because I just got the thing for free. If you as a sage say, if you present yourself as someone who has the information they need and you give just enough so that they know that they can trust you, but not enough so that they can solve the problem, then that's when they hire you.
Yeah. That's a strategical stuff that I'm not good in. I know a lot about marketing and a lot about strategy and so on, but it's very hard for me to draw this line. And perhaps one good way would be to build another freebie or another lead magnet, and that's the reason why I want to come up with this quiz, because that brings me away from the free numerology report that I offer. I offer your main three numbers in a condensed version for free, and it's exactly that. Many people are not hungry anymore. They are, I don't know how to say it.
Yes, they're full.
They're full, yes.
Full.
And that's the first point. And the second point is that numerology is a very, in its basics, it's very easy. You only have to add your birth date, and you have to add your name numbers, and then you have the number. So everyone thinks, okay, it's so easy, I can do it myself, and I can Google for other websites with explanations. So it's very, very difficult to convince them to buy additionally stuff from me. Yet right now is my best time, because people buy their yearly forecast, so it's always half of my income is made in the next 3 months, and but on the other times in the year.
Oh my God! Tell me what do you offer for that?
I offer I offer a numerology report for €49. That's my main product. So, and I don't do very, very much consulting stuff right now, because I only do every 2 weeks a newsletter, and I only have one theme to address, and it's 99%. It's my reports, because there's most people who buy them. So. And I know that I have to change this model, and I'm thinking a lot about this, how I can change it. And I think one point is that get a little bit across my neurology stuff and go more into the cards. And I have already the whole infrastructure for doing card reports and perhaps or doing even workshops on the cards. But I'm not that's one other distinction. I'm not a typical teacher who tells every week the same stuff about the King of Clubs to a different audience. Because we are King of Clubs and we have to care about new stuff. We have to talk about new stuff. We have to weave together the stuff, but we are not the ones who want to repeat the same stuff every single time. So that's a little bit. I have a little bit structural problem. So that's.
Yeah. So what is your upsell if someone buys your $49
No, I
thing?
don't have one. I don't have one right now. Yeah, I'm in 10 years. I do this since 10 years, and I haven't managed to build just one funnel. it's ridiculous, but it is like it is. Yeah. Because I know this whole stuff. I know how to do it, but I haven't managed it to build it. And the upsell would be perhaps a course to learn it or personal reading, but not but. I say but a lot, but because I think I attract the false people right now. People who don't want to spend much money, who do want the most stuff for free, and I think I have to completely change my whole marketing and my whole message. People don't know that I care about the whole stuff that I care about in the background. They only knew me as a numerologist, as a numbers idiot. I think I just call myself a little much times, and they don't know that I'm able to get to very very deep points with all my other tools. So that's a form of communication that I haven't done in the last 10 years. So and that's because that is changing right now, and I know that I'm numerologically I come into my 9th year next year. It's a personal 9 year for me, and that's all about letting go and looking back, what was good, what wasn't so good, and then establish new foundations or think about new foundations for the future, and then 2021 to start over in my 1 person year. It's about new beginnings. The 1 person year. So I'm a little ahead of my time with this whole stuff, and I noticed it a couple of months ago. So that I just every now and then I do a little step in this direction, or with Kylie or with Chanti, but I know that the huge leap is not it's not the right time right now. I have to close my numerology stuff before I do it. Not to close, but I came up with the idea a couple of days ago to make I must look it up because it's so special word. I don't know if you have something like this in English. So, a farewell tour. Do you know this word?
What is it?
A farewell tour.
Oh, yes.
So I get the message from my neurology business. I think it's a kind of entity for me. So I sense a little bit like this. And when I thought about letting go of my neurology business and my stuff, I got very sad and nearly in tears, because it's like a separation from a loved one or a friend or something like this, or family, because neurology has given me so much in the last 20 years, and has made it possible that I quit my day job, and that I'm a freelancer right now, that I can take my time for myself, and so I owe her a lot. this numerology.
Yeah, it's almost like you need to go through a grieving process.
Yes, and I sense that 2020 is my farewell tour year for numerology, and I will put all my stuff that I have out there, and people can get it if they want to pay for it. And I think I make myself empty a little bit, and I give back what numerology has given me. So that's my energetical feeling right now, and that's what I want to do next year. So because I want to get rid of the label numerology for myself, because it's not fitting for me anymore.
Oh my gosh, our stories are so similar.
Yeah.
I did this. I had this a few years ago. I had, I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I had an in-person practice and I owned a fitness studio.
I know this, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so for me, when I sold that, it was such an emotional process.
Yeah.
And because I no longer wanted to be the go-to, I didn't want to be known for fitness or nutrition, or even I was very well known for mindset. But it wasn't what I wanted. It was who I had been for 16 years.
Yeah.
I had spent all that time building my reputation, and I ended up selling the studio to 3 of the coaches. They bought it together. And it was a profitable sale for me. It wasn't as much as I could have gotten from someone else. I had another buyer who was offering 3 times as much, actually, but I knew he wanted to turn it into like this chain commercialized franchise type thing. And to me, it felt more like an adoption process. Like I was, I couldn't give it to this businessman. And I sold it to the coaches instead for, like I said, about 1/3 of the price, because it was more important to me to have a clean cut. And then I actually spent the next 2 years not doing anything with physical stuff because I needed a clean break. I needed to know somehow in myself that I could do these other things and not just be like, for you to not just be a numbers guy. I went through that with not just I didn't want to be a fitness girl. I didn't want to write workouts anymore. I didn't want to write meal plans. I didn't want to do all of these things. And now 6 years later, 5 years later, I can't remember exactly how long, entrepreneur time warp, forever ago and just yesterday, I sold that practice. But now I'm at a point where I've started bringing the body connection back in, but it's a completely different way. So I'm sharing that with you so that you maybe know that it might be goodbye for now to numerology, but it doesn't mean that it can't still be something you incorporate in a very unique way. And
I will incorporate this. Yeah. Okay. I will. It's energetically so much interwoven with me and my system and my soul and so on. So I will definitely go on with numerology in the background, and I will go on with selling my reports. But I want to cut this connection. Arndt equals numerology. That's not what I'm. Yeah, it's not me anymore. So I think it has much to do with my whole way, my past, and perhaps with my self-worth, and who am I without my numerology stuff. So I told you stuff about your son that I didn't take out of my numerology stuff. I feel a lot of stuff already, and when I see someone, I get immediately information about get a whole picture and a whole story about someone. So I don't need this numerology stuff. I needed to perhaps to to look if my impulse or my impression goes in the right direction. But, I think I can look very deep without any tool. So, and that's a little bit to step into my own greatness and to not to use neurology as a tool to hide behind. So, and that's very, very, very important for me.
So I'm getting a really strong hit. I guess like emotionally, I'm an emotional authority. So I pay attention to that stuff. Yeah. There's a side of me that's wondering, I've never, it's been years since I've offered like a barter anything with anybody, but I'm wondering if you're open to maybe exploring like you supporting me somehow. I don't even really know exactly how, but I do feel like you add a lot of value and you could bring some major support to my next steps. And I'm seeing ways that I could definitely add value to what you've got going on.
Yes, I know.
And I don't know if you're, I don't know if you're open to that. This isn't like a sales pitch. This is just something that's coming through. Like it, I don't know, like if we maybe come up with something of like, hey, I'll give you a few calls, you give me a few calls, and we'll help each other out and trade. Are you open to thinking, maybe sleeping on what that might look like?
No, it's I don't have to sleep about it.
You're a manifesting generator. Of course you don't.
Yeah. Okay. We already made the first step. It's a two-step process for me. It's all. The first step is my sacral authority, and the point is that I don't hear my sacral authority right now. I haven't trained it. You gave me this tip with the questions, but I didn't practice it until now. And I got another hint from a friend of mine, and she did a tantra workshop a couple of years ago, and it wasn't sexual tantra. It was the awakening of the sacral voice. It was interesting that she did exactly what you do with these questions in a tantra workshop. So I want to. I think I go to find this guy and ask him if he will do a workshop in the near future, so that I can. It's better for me to do it in something like this, in this environment. So, but the second step is after I get my sacral response, I have to dig a toe into the water as a manifesting generator. And that's the point of truth. And Chetan describes it. It's when you put your key into the I don't know the English word. If you want to start a car, you do it
to the lock.
The lock, ignition. and then you want to start the motor. And in this moment, when you start the motor, it's the second step. So if the sacral response is when you put the key into the lock. And the second step is when you start the motor. And he told another story that I even find.
Hold on, I'm listening.
Yeah.
And the baby just started crying, so I'm gonna grab him. I'm sorry if you hear him. Hi, baby. Hello, sweetheart. Hello. Hi. Okay.
Hello, Mr. Monk.
Yes. Yes. But yeah, so the key, and I gave you the wrong English word. It's ignition. To start the car, you put the key into the ignition.
No,
if you're putting a key into it.
Yeah,
if you're putting a key into the door, it's a lock.
Yeah, okay.
It's a little tricky.
Yeah,
you know, us Americans like to make things hard.
Chetan tells a story. Tells another story, or I think he told me, or I don't know if if I saw a video where he told it, and I completely resonated with this story. He said, if someone calls you and says, "Hey, whoa, Arndt, do you want to come to my party tomorrow?" And my secretary says, I want. Okay, so let's meet tomorrow at 10 o'clock on the station, and then get to the party, something like this. So then next day, I prepare myself, I put my dress on, I take a shower, and I go to go grab my jacket, and the moment when I get to the front door and open the door, it's the moment of truth for the manifesting generator. Only then I knew if I'm in the mood and it's correct for me to go to the party. And it might have been that it was correct yesterday, but it's not correct in the moment when I go through the door. And that was so eye-opening for me, because I had this situation a lot of times when I agree with people to work with them, or when I hire a coach or something like this, or something who does web stuff for me, that I get the sacral response that is okay, and then when I make the first step, I immediately sense if it's correct or not, and that's very and I had to very often I had to correct myself and say, okay, it's not. I want to cancel our agreement because it's not right for me right now. So and that's very difficult, because normally we have to give people a kind of user manual for me, or kind of something like this, to say, okay, I say yes in this moment, but it can be that I make up my mind, or that I have this moment of truth, and then I cancel our agreement. Is this okay for you? Everyone would look like I'm an alien, which I am, but that's another story. So yeah. So, but we are past this moment of truth already. So I had this in our first call. I wouldn't have come up with this, because I respect you very, very much, and I respect your level of expertise and your level of excellence. So I wouldn't have asked you, but I thought on this after our first call too. If you could, if you could make something like an exchange or an agreement. So, but I waited that you. If it's correct, I thought perhaps it would come up when we talk another time or something like this. So it's
Well, I mean, for me, it feels like I'd like to sleep on what I think that might look like, but I'm also really curious what you see, because again, like, I'm just trusting not my sacral but my emotional authority here of, like, what would you imagine, like, how would you see yourself supporting me?
Okay, that's a very, very good question, because when I do an agreement with someone, I ask this: what can do you for me? What do you expect from me? What are our benefits? Vice versa, that we can get together, and how can we benefit? It's very, very important that no one of us has the feeling that he's over delivering about or that he gives too much. And I think I only want to make business in all kinds of agreements with people when I have the feeling that that's correct for me, and have the feeling that that's correct for them. And if it's not correct for them, then I don't want to make this agreement, because I don't feel good when it's like this.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I'll go first, actually. Like, I can see really tangible ways that I could support you would be in transitioning from Arndt the numerologist into Arndt the next version of you, that not only could I help you name and get clear on how to talk about, but also setting boundaries with what you give for free, what people pay for, how much this level costs, that level costs. I think my perspective and our shared experiences, while different, are so similar that there are some things I've already been through that I know you're going to be going through in the next few months, that I would be honored to be part of your journey. And I'm not asking you like, hey, what can you do for me? Because I'm like, well, make me an offer, mister. Like there's something about what you do that
uh,
feels really valuable. And I don't know how to put my finger on it. So I'm curious what would feel exciting and good for you um, to support me in, I guess.
yeah. Okay, that's a little bit stretch for me. Not that I cannot deliver, but to think about what could be really from worth for you. I have an idea already.
What is it?
I could teach you the basics, or perhaps more than the basics of the card system, because I think that could be a very, very good tool in your toolbox for yeah, for getting to know people even better when you meet them, and perhaps
Mm-hmm.
to come up with stuff a little. Belinda and I are very, very deep into um, recognizing people and looking what yeah, like I don't know the English word. I just look it up. It's because it's sometimes I don't know the right word. It's about assess other people. Like
Oh
really,
yeah.
you have these test tools that you give to the people that they have to fill out, and I think it's very great for your whole process to do this. And what Belinda and I do is before you even get them the test, just with their birth date to get a sense where who they are and how you can work with them. That's something. And the other stuff in the card system is about planning and about time quality. And really, really great point is about relationships. And it's
Mm-hmm.
look, we have both a King of Clubs, so our combined birth card, our combined card would be, I think, King of it must be King of Spades. So if you know your partner card with someone, you can you have an idea about the room that you or the space that you create together. So we together create the King of Spades. It's the highest card in the whole deck. And two King of Clubs come together. They create the space of this master of everything. So and that's if you have a client, then you can see, okay, this client has a six of clubs, and you have together the space of the six of diamonds. So you can track a little bit how and which direction this whole thing goes. That's one idea that I have, that I can teach you this stuff. And I have so much material. I do the card system since 2006, nearly as long as I do numerology. So and I have no problems to give this stuff away, because yeah, that's okay for me. We are not in the same area, and it's okay for me to teach you this stuff.
I love it. And I love, actually, what I love most, I think I'm going to say that I think we should sleep on it, and then maybe
Yeah.
we talk again by the end of this week and
Yeah.
say, hey, here's what I'd like to offer you. Here's what I would normally charge for it. And we make an equal exchange.
Okay.
And I'm definitely open to the idea of learning some more information about the card system. I think what you just said that was the most powerful for me to hear was how you and I together are the most powerful card in the deck, so to speak. So like us working together is going to be good for both of us.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
And I also am very much I'm just open to the idea. And like I said, I haven't offered this to anybody in years. I typically am like, no, if you want to work with me, here's how much it costs, and I know that it's worth that. And I'm not trying to devalue myself or you in any way by offering a trade, but it just, like I said, it just hit me in the feels of, I'd like to look at how we might be able to help each other in a way that feels good for both of us. So I'm definitely curious and open to learning more about the card systems, but I'm also
human design is another part. I think I'm a typical sage. I don't know anything. I cannot repeat all the stuff that I read, but I know where good stuff is to find, and I can be a guide through this system and can tell you which people you can perhaps read or consult or something like this if you want to know more about some topics. So a very great field of the human design is the stuff that Richard Rudd does. I think I sent you one book of him about the channels and the gates. That's one.
Yes, I believe you did. Yes.
Yeah, and that's I can even send you. I have it as a PDF, so I could send you the PDF if you want, like this. And and he does a completely different field. It's not called human design; it's called Gene Keys. And this stuff
it's wild.
Yeah,
it's wild.
And I can tell you, this. I don't do any reading or any kind of stuff without looking into one book of him. And the Gene Keys book it's amazing, and he has the sequence from that Chetan calls Business Success Code. I don't know if who came up with this, but I think Richard came up with this. Richard calls it Pearl sequence. So I think Richard and Chetan are good friends, and I think Richard came up with it and allowed Chetan to use it, something like this. So Richard has more stuff on this business success code, and I incorporated this too. And so that's another line that I can. I have a lot of knowledge about tools that describe people, interactions from relationships and high quality. So I'm someone you only have to ask me questions. It's literally it's like Google. You have to type something in and I give you the answers.
You know what I think one of the biggest values of me working with you would be for you is the information you have is powerful, and what is the transformation it creates, or what is the convenience? Like, so I'm going back to what I said earlier, like people pay for three things: information, transformation, or convenience.
Yeah.
For you to actually have a case study of this is how Bethany transformed, this is the convenience it provided someone who cares about delivering high level of service to X, Y, and Z person. It might not be that we know exactly what's going to happen, or like, I don't know, like I feel safe with you to be like, I'm open to just see what happens. And I think that might actually inform a lot of how I would end up supporting you in shifting your marketing plan and helping you dial in. Obviously, I'm no Kylie as far as a copywriter goes, but as far as connecting what you do with who it actually helps, that's not a copywriting skill. That's my natural gift.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
And I do that for people all the time, but I need to work with them to know that. So I'm actually really excited about whatever we might come up with. Does this feel good for you?
Yeah, it does. And I have another idea, because I have already defined my. I call my product your business DNA or your entrepreneur DNA on German Unternehmer DNA and DNA, because it's very much about the design. And I came up with 6 different maps, and I think it would be a good idea to to do all your 6 maps for you and to put the stuff in and to do your and to be so that you go through the 6 maps and we refine your personal stuff. We refine your marketing, your message, your brand, whatever it is in this maps. We refine your ideal clients perhaps, and it's a little bit test because I know a lot of people claim that you can get the right clients with your design and so on, but I'm not sure if someone has a good idea how to get this out of the body graph. And I think I have come up with some ideas to how to get far with this. So
here's what I'm hearing is I'm essentially going to be your guinea pig.
Yes.
For you proving to yourself what your next level is after numerology. And I'm going to help you do something that I know I can do and I'm really fucking good at, and I haven't figured out how to talk about it.
Yeah, perhaps this is.
Like that's like almost like the gut reaction I'm having is this actually makes sense for a barter because we're both a little bit learning.
Yeah.
And I don't particularly care if it's X number of calls or this or that. I think it's more about us maybe being in a space where like, hey, we'll connect over the next like 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
And I'll support you as your mentor in this way. And you'll support me as my mentor in this way. And we'll both end up with case studies that prove not only to ourselves, but can also be used moving forward of like, here's what we do.
Yes. And you know me a little bit right now. You get a very, very distinctive testimonial or story. I even write you an email sequence if you want it. So yes, that's I mean this very, very seriously. I think I'm a good writer, but and if I have the right story for that, it's no problem for me to write a very personalized client story sequence for you. That would be a very great deal, I think. If you have something
I think
like
so
this.
too. And you know what's funny is you're saying that is I actually do that for I have one. I was going through my team needed testimonials for a thing I'm launching in January, and they're getting all of the marketing done now. And I went through and did some screenshots, and at least 7 of my clients were like, I don't want to ever be without Bethany's eyes on my copy or something like this. And I can do it for other people so well, but it's really hard for me to do myself.
Yeah.
Especially with someone, like if I try to hire an average copywriter who doesn't understand energy or doesn't understand coaching or doesn't understand this. So I'm actually super excited. Like I'm a yes. I feel like you're a yes. We just maybe need to sort out an official agreement about how we're going to support each other. And I would prefer to sleep on that to honor my process. I don't know if you feel the need to do that as well, or if like, but
as I said, I had this confirmation already in the last call. So,
well, I'm excited to see what we come up with then, because we're about to make some magic happen, Art.
I think so.
Yeah, I feel really good about exploring this. And what's the best way to follow up with you?
Yeah, just just connect with me when your authority has given a clear signal for you that to go on, and perhaps then we can start.
Yeah, because right. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. Right now, I feel like I'm riding like the emotional authority they talk about in waves. Like I'm like on a high. It's like a high wave where it's like, this is amazing. So I know for me, I need 24 to 48 hours.
That's okay. Take all the time you need. No problem.
And then we'll come up with something definite and we'll go from there. But I don't have any doubt that this is a yes. It's just about the details. And that's where my emotions get a little wonky.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited.
Great. Okay. So
I'm doing a little happy dance here.
Then let's trust the process and
yeah. So let's be in touch by the end of this week and just decide essentially, like, I guess I feel like it's you and I both, it very much to me feels like we're on the same page about the outcomes, but let's get clear on what the deliverables are. And to me, that part always, again, like tomorrow I'll wake up and I'll be like, here's Voxer access and 3 calls, or is it 8 calls and email access, or is it this or that? Like those things sort themselves out in my head, because again, for the multiple time, this is not, I don't usually barter. Usually it's like, here's what I have to sell. I know it can help this person and you're that person and here you are. But I think there's something really special about our connection and I want to honor that. And I 1,000% believe that what you bring to the world, I want to get my hands in your business before you have this massive, the biggest, when you said this is the biggest time of my business and you don't have an upsell, I was like, no, the world needs more of Arndt. This is not about me. Like, honestly, everything that I was feeling was the world needs what you actually do. And yes, you might need a grieving process with numerology. And yes, it might be uncomfortable to redefine yourself and there might be some hiccups. And
it's more about
honestly,
honoring. It's more about honoring what I received.
It's just, and I get that. And there's nothing wrong with that. And the world can't wait for you to take a long time. You can't wait another 10 years for you to bring your gifts in a bigger way. The world needs you now. And I want to be part of that.
Yeah, that's great. So it's interesting because not interesting, but I acted not in my normal way. In my normal way, perhaps I would have asked you. But I made a development in the last year or 2 years that I have the faith if something is right, it will happen and it will come. And I'm very, very glad that you bring up this point yourself and that I didn't have to bring it up because, and I mean this very, very truly from my heart. I respect you so much that I haven't had asked you for this. Because I really appreciate your whole expertise, and you are so far away from everyone I work with until right now. It's very in this one call we addressed so much points in my direction that I say, wow, it's amazing. The first time we met and all the stuff that you told about Jack Canfield, who said you are a master teacher and so on. I completely resonated with this because it's the truth. So and no bragging, no over or no exaggeration. I completely felt it and sensed it and noticed it. So I wouldn't have asked you because I honor this skill that you have. I know that I have myself the skill on another field, something equally high, but it's not. I'm not able to produce the results you produce right now, and that's something.
Well, you know what, Arndt? I love that you said that, because if you would have asked me, I would have probably, to be harsh, I probably would have not ended our friendship, but I would have been like, oh, he's just another person trying to take advantage of me.
Yeah.
And you didn't do that.
Yeah.
Because I know what that's like, and I know people, there's a reason I don't barter. There is a reason that I very rarely talk to someone that I feel like the synchronicity of literally, you can add so much value to my life right now. I don't even know exactly how, but I know you can. And I know that there is something about like the right now of it that I can add a significant value to your life. And I feel like this is like bigger than the two of us. And I'm not trying to be like weird. I don't know another way to say it other than us working together needs to happen right now.
Yeah.
And I feel like if I asked you for money, or if you asked me for money, that's what would make it weird. And so an exchange feels like the most honest, beautiful way to do it.
Yeah.
And it's not because money is bad. It's not because I'm afraid to ask for money. And I hope you're not afraid to ask for money, although a little bit, I think you are.
Yes, a little bit.
And I think that's one of the things I'm going to help you with. But the last time I bartered with someone, I've always done fair exchange. Like, you charge $1,000 for this, I charge $1,000 for this, we'll swap. Great, no problem. And I stopped doing that because of very specific reasons. And I don't feel any of those reasons with you. Like, I am so excited to see what we come up with.
Yes, me too.
So I'm really glad that we connected today and that we reached out. And Jackson in the background is excited as well about his snack. This is him having a snack. He's not yelling at me. He's yelling about how good
his, I noticed. I can see the difference. Yeah. Really,
but,
and really an amazing boy that you have. Yeah, it's so. If the photos are, I don't say this too much. I have a couple of I think 2 or 3 or 4 kids that are similar, that touch me similarly. But it's so. If I see your husband with his guitar on his hand, and so it's so. It's real. It's authentic. It's not a photo that you post on Instagram to get some kind of message. Or this. It's just real face. It's love. It's tenderness. I'm really touched by you, I must say.
Thank you.
So,
that means a lot, actually, because my husband actually hates me taking pictures.
Yeah.
And
but he's so great father.
He's started taking more pictures than me with Jackson, because he said we tend to have our deepest discussions out in the garage, and I'm not sure why. I think it's because we are less likely to wake the baby if we argue or something. But he said to me recently, he said, if you would have asked me on January 4th, the day before Jackson was born, if I ever would have wanted to be a stay-at-home dad, I would have told you hell no.
Yeah.
But he's like, in the past few months, I've realized being his dad is the most important thing I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
And Jake also, he's a very live in the moment guy. Yeah. So he actually doesn't, his thing about me taking pictures or videos, he's like, can't you just be here with us and not take a picture? But now, again, this is only over the course of a few months, and he's like, I get why pictures matter, because he's looking back at pictures of Jackson.
Yeah.
Jackson's only 9 months old.
Yeah.
And he's like, you remember he was small, but you don't remember how small until you see this picture where he fits in the palm of Jake's hand.
Yeah.
Like, and I have this picture of Jackson and Jake where he literally is holding his son in the palm of his hand. And now, and I have pictures, like you said, I've shared some of them on social media, which my husband is fine with, by the way.
Yeah.
And he's not against pictures to that point. He doesn't take them as much as I do. And when he saw a replay, I was like, look at how little he was. And he was playing bass guitar while wearing Jackson. And now he can't do that anymore because Jackson's too big.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
he's like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you have that picture or that video.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's very interesting.
I'm not trying to go on a tangent about how much I love my family, but my family is why I do what I do. I'm willing to sound weird, sound strange, make waves, piss people off, to find the people that are willing to pay me, because I want my family to have a different life than is the norm. Like, I don't want Jackson raised by daycare. I don't want my husband to stay at a job he hates. I don't want to feel stuck at home, and I don't.
Yeah.
But we want to travel more than we're traveling right now, and I'm ready to triple my income.
I think if I look at your numerology chart or your number, next year is a year of foundations for you. You have to next year is the year where you lay the foundations for this, and the next year after that, 2021, is your travel year, because it's your 5 year, and it's the best and typical travel year from all 9 years. And I think it fits into the flow that I sense, that you have to lay the foundation the next perhaps 9 to 12 months, I don't know, and then you have all what you need. And as a projector, you have to have digital products. That's very, very, very important for you. So that's the next step to that's your transformation, or your next step to bring your expertise into digital products, and that's perhaps something I can give input to.
Yeah, I'm excited. All right,
yes.
Arndt.
Okay, then you care about your son.
Yeah, he's fine. He's running laps around the house. So when he wakes up from a nap, he's a generator. So he's like,
okay,
go, and he knows Mama's a projector.
Yeah.
So
great.
he's very good at running figure eights around our house. But I would love to see, this is your first assignment from me as your future coach for however we choose to barter.
Yeah.
I want you to come up with, let's say you and I support each other from now through, I'm going to say February 25th, because that's my birthday.
Okay.
So let's say we start next week and we go October 25th through February 25th, 4 months.
Okay. Mm.
Your first assignment is to come up with, what is the information I'm going to get from working with you?
Mm.
What is the transformation I'm going to get from working with you?
Mm.
And what is the convenience that working with you is going to provide me?
You as Bethany.
Me as Bethany. This is literally like, and I know that you and I are coming up with something very much custom. But it's a good exercise, because if you can tell me the information, the transformation, and the convenience that we're going to get, and what is that valued at?
Okay.
I want you to put a price tag on it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, it's a stretch for me, but I do it. Yeah.
Yes. So that's your first assignment, because as much as I know we're going to work out the details throughout the rest of this week, everything that in our conversation I'm hearing is you're a yes and I'm a yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So I will also do the same. I practice what I preach.
Okay.
And then why don't you Facebook message, or you can email me I'll give you my email, coach@bethperry.com.
Okay.
Oh, baby, do you need a sip of water? Hold on. Oh, never mind. You email me over. You don't have to be fancy. Like, this is not a sales pitch. Here's the bonus of doing it, how we're doing it. Yeah. You don't have to convince me, and I don't have to convince you. Unless, do you not want to do October 25th to February 25th? Does that feel not good?
No, it's great for me.
Okay. So if you imagine those 4 months, send me over how you could best help me.
Yeah.
And then also, how would you like to be supported?
Yeah, also that's both ways. Okay.
Yeah, and I'll do the same for you. And by the end of this week, let's get that to each other.
Yeah.
And then we'll fix anything that's incongruent or unclear.
Yeah.
So that it feels good for both of us, and then we'll start next week.
Great. Okay, let's do it this way. Yeah.
Yay.
Great. Fine.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Looking forward. Yeah. So then have a shout out to your husband and say he's fabulous with his son. I really like your little family. It's no. Yeah, have a shout. Okay, then have a nice evening.
You too, Arndt. We will, and I will tell my husband, and he will very much appreciate that.
Yeah,
because we were having a King of Clubs and a Queen of Hearts disagreement last night, so he will be very excited to come home and find out that we are amazing for each other, triggering each other just right.
Yes. Okay, great. So then we will connect. Bye-bye.
Okay. All right. Bye, Arndt.
No.
Jackson.